Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Georgi Matveev, and you're listening to another episode of Russian Guitar Guys podcast. On this episode, I'm joined by my good buddy Emmanueli Adzoh, a Jiu-Jitsu purple belt training out of Gracie, Baja, making his MMA debut early October. It was a lot of fun having him on. We talk about art, painting, music, martial arts, all that kind of stuff. He has a very interesting philosophy on fighting and how he kind of thinks about everything. So I'm rooting for the guy. I know he has the potential to do great things in martial arts, and I look forward to having him on after he gets the win. So enjoy. I'm here with my good buddy Manny. How do you pronounce your real full name?
My real full name?
Yeah.
Emmanueli Adzoh.
Adzoh. Where's that? What is that from? The origin?
I'm from Togo. So I was born in Togo. That's in West Africa.
Okay.
And whenever I moved to America when I was about like 4 years old, and then I lived in New York for a couple years. Then I moved to St. Louis, lived there for a couple years. Then I moved to O'Fallon.
Okay.
So
okay. And when you were, I somewhat did this. I was born in Oregon, and then like as soon as I was born, I lived in Brazil till I was 5.
well, I know
And then
that.
moved. Yeah. And then I lived there for about 5 years. Then I moved back to Oregon, and then to St. Louis. But, my name, Georgi. But when I was a kid, like I don't know why, but for me, I was always embarrassed. Like when teachers would look at my name and like couldn't say shit. So that's how I ended up being Gary for a while. Did that ever
No, that.
with you? Where you're like, fuck it, just call me Manny.
No, I'd say call me Emmanuel, because I'd write my name Emmanueli. I have shitty handwriting anyways.
Right.
People would be like, "Oh, you don't know how to spell your name, this and that," telling me I don't know how to spell my fucking name like the other kids and shit. So for a while I was just like, yeah, fuck it, just call me Emmanuel, But my real name is Emmanueli.
Yeah. Did you have a point, like for me it was after high school, where I just wanted to kind of embrace more of who I was and Georgi and that, and so I kind of dropped the whole Gary thing. Was that similar with you, where you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna
100%. Honestly, like, all right, when I moved to America and I was going to school, I felt like an outsider because I was an immigrant. Everyone's American, like, we're eating crazy food at home. We're talking crazy languages.
Yep.
I'm like, and so other kids would like make fun of me for that, and I'm like, fuck, I just want to be like everybody else. Fuck this,
Exactly.
But then after I started thinking about it, I'm like, after high school, you get older, and I started thinking about it, I'm like, no, it's fucking dope. I'm from Africa, you know what I mean?
Man, yeah.
It's dope. I can speak multiple languages. It's dope. The food we eat, all this different stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really, like, about a year ago, I went to Africa for the first time since I moved here, and that really was like, yeah, it made me embrace my heritage more. And now I'm super proud to be African, honestly, because it's fucking amazing looking back on all the kids who were talking shit.
Right.
They're just fucking jealous,
Exactly. And they don't get it. Like, I feel like I had the same thing where, like, English is the third language I learned. My first two were Russian and Portuguese. But then when I came to America, kids were mean. I was the weird foreign kid who didn't know how to speak English. And so my cousins made fun of me. So I eventually dropped learning Portuguese. I just stopped talking in Portuguese.
Yeah, shun it.
Yeah. And now, like, fuck, that'd be so cool if I still knew how to speak Portuguese. I know Russian well, but, like, Portuguese, that's pretty much gone. And but like with like typical American kids, they don't understand other cultures as well as, like, if it's a different world. I'm sure Africa is a completely different world. I know, like Brazil, it's just, I feel like it's important people to get that other perspective on things, you know?
100%. Like, honestly, like, America's great, but there's like a lot of different ways to do shit, and that's what like traveling has showed me. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, these kids who were talking shit on me, it's almost like they just want you to be like everybody else because they're scared of it or something like that.
Yeah, it's just different, and if it's different, it's wrong. That's the way they look at it. If something is so different, the way you might eat food different. Where, like, for me, I grew up where rice and beans was, that's a Brazilian thing. I always ate that. But I remember meeting friends where before they even gave it a chance, they're like, "Oh, what is that? That's so different. That's so weird." They just completely shunned it, and it just made it feel weird. But it's just like, you gotta just open your mind a little bit. But so the reason brought you in here is you have a fight coming up. You're an MMA fighter, Jiu-Jitsu, purple belt. That's how we met. I kind of want to, honestly, before we get into all that, I want to, I'm a fan, obviously, and like, I wanted you to maybe, if you can, help me understand a little bit more with like fighting with stances. So there's Southpaw and Orthodox, right? Mm-hmm. So typically, if you're a Southpaw, it means you're probably a left-handed person, right? But like, what are the advantages and disadvantages? And this is literally just from my interest. Mm-hmm. What are like the advantages and disadvantages or openings between like an Orthodox fighter and a Southpaw fighter? As far as like when you're standing, what opens up with like your power hand or your jab and things like that?
I think there is no advantages or disadvantages because, for example, it's like art. Like when you're painting, you make a painting and you look at like, all right, when I was younger, I used to just paint all the time. I still do paint, but I look at someone like Da Vinci, and he was making amazing, like, realistic paintings, and I look at someone like Jean-Michel Basquiat, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know, it looks like shit.
Right.
But that's the thing about art. It's like there's no one way to do it. There's no... So, like, for example, Conor McGregor is a Southpaw. Yeah. And he's fucking everybody up, so everyone wants to start switching over to Southpaw, but it doesn't work because they're not Conor McGregor. They didn't live his life. They're not who he is. Then you have, you know, other guys like John Jones, Orthodox, and he's fucking people up. He was fucking people up. He's doing great, you know?
Right.
So it's like, I don't really think there is an advantage or a disadvantage in any style. It's just how the individual takes it and what they're able to do with it. Mm-hmm. And that's the best thing about martial arts is or any art, because it's literally how you see things or how you piece things together, and there's so many different ways to do it. There is no really wrong or right answer. Like you see Dominic Cruz when he came out and he had this crazy style, people are like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? That's wrong. But then he becomes world champion. Now other guys want to steal his stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think that's, with Southpaw, maybe an advantage would be like not many people are used to that. Mm-hmm. But Orthodox has its advantages as well. It just depends on the individual.
Okay. I guess you fight Orthodox.
Yeah, Orthodox. Okay. I switch it up.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say with the way things are going and the evolution of the sport and everything, you kind of like you almost need to be able to do both. Because when I was a lot younger, I remember watching a Nate Diaz fight. I forget which one it was. I think it was the Benson Henderson fight, and Benson kept attacking his lead leg, and I always wondered, like, just switch your stance. But like, why wouldn't? Why? I guess he doesn't train the other way.
Well, he's also his style is primarily boxing and jiu-jitsu, so he doesn't really ever throw kicks.
Okay.
So I think that had something to do with it, because yeah, I mean, he just never throws kicks. So when you're a boxer, you are susceptible to leg kicks.
Yeah.
And
I guess like switching his stance to where that lead leg isn't getting chopped up was just not an option for him. Or
maybe he wasn't comfortable with it, or who knows? Maybe Benson also is a black belt, so maybe he felt like if he were to start throwing leg kicks, or throwing kicks, maybe he feels like he get taken down. He'd want to get into a jiu-jitsu fight. Mm-hmm. Who knows? You know, but yeah, if you have a boxing style, you are definitely susceptible to leg kicks.
Yeah. What would you say your style is as far as striking?
My style is just fucking. Mine is.
I mean, you're basically like you're grounded in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
And then like.
I'd say it's just like freedom. Honestly, my style is just freedom. It's just art. That's what it is. Like, I just go out there and I just do different moves that I'm comfortable with. I just do different things. I take everything. Like, I'm a big proponent of Bruce Lee's mindset of like, take whatever that works in whatever style and just put it in your own, make your own shit.
Yeah.
And that's basically my style. I look at a lot of different fighters. I watch, like last night I was watching McGregor's highlights, you know, seeing how I could take some of that the night. Also, I was watching John Jones.
Yeah.
You know, I like Shogun a lot. I like Jose Aldo. I look at all these guys and I just try to put it into one box.
Okay. Do you see like between like all of the top tier guys, like you have Jones, McGregor, Cruz, Aldo, Demetrius Johnson, like do you see something that's similar with all of their styles where like there's this weird little almost like an ingredient in the recipe that they're all kind of using? What do you think that is?
It's not actually, it has nothing to do with the physical aspect anymore. That's what I'm really looking into. The thing that because look at for John Jones, for example, when he came on the scene, he had only been training for a short amount of time. And he was fucking all these guys up who had been training their whole life.
Yeah.
Fucking black belts up, choking them out, all these different things. And the biggest thing that I see is the number one thing is your mindset and your self-belief.
Yeah.
And that's really, really what it comes down to in fighting, because when you get in there, it is about technique. Yeah, you have to have a technical aspect, but your mindset and your determination, your will is the real thing. That's what separates it. Because Ali, he said, yeah, you have to have skill, but sometimes the will can outdo the skill. Like if the other fighter sees that you want it so bad, he breaks a little bit, and then that's it.
Perfect example is Gaethje versus
Michael
Johnson. Yeah,
I didn't see that fight.
You didn't see that fight, dude? It was crazy. That I remember, like, because there was a lot of hype around Justin Gaethje. You need to watch that fight. That's a perfect fight of what you're talking about, because Justin Gaethje, he kept moving forward. In the beginning, Michael Johnson was tagging him, and he looked like the more technical, skillful striker. But Gaethje just kept moving forward. The dude got like rocked. Like I feel like he's gonna have a short career with the way he fights. But he ended up getting the knockout. Because eventually, like, Johnson didn't have that mindset, didn't have the determination or whatever, and just gave up.
Yeah, he sees like this guy wants it so fucking bad, and then he starts questioning, "Fuck, do I really want it this bad?" And he's like, "Fuck that." I didn't see the fight, but that's how it always is, and that's the number one thing that I see. Because I've been studying all these fighters for a long fucking time, and it's not about the technique. It's not about a specific skill or skill or, you know, it's really about the mindset. That's really where it's at. That's the next level. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just getting my mind right and just getting everything just locked down. You know, and like I look at John Jones a lot. When he first hopped on the scene and he was about to fight Shogun for the title, he would always be meditating, and he would just be, his whole thing was just ultimate belief in himself, and that's what happened. You know, you believe in yourself, and I believe that we can always do more than we think we're capable of at all times. It's just a matter of wanting your reasons for hitting that next level and whatever it is. Like you just have to have, like, your reasons have to be strong enough to be able to hit that next level. And I see it with McGregor, like he hops on. With him, I read his book, and in his book he talks about after his second loss, he just went into this deep depression, and you know, he wouldn't leave his room for a long time. Like, and Coach Kavanagh came over and started talking to him, and they're like, "Yeah, fuck this, we're gonna do this." And then ever since then, he was just on fire. Just he said he's gonna make his dream happen. He's gonna make it come true. And then 4 years later, he's the #1 guy all over the place. You know, and it was real. And when he hopped on the scene, that was the biggest thing that I saw with him, was his mindset. And I'm like, okay, this fucking guy, he can do it, because he has that right mindset. The mindset where other people will say, oh, this guy's crazy, or he's cocky, or he's this, or he's that. No, that's how you have to fucking think, because you're in there, you're fighting another human being who's also trained, and he wants to fuck you up. You have to think that you're the baddest motherfucker out there. That's just how it is. It's fucking fighting, you know? You can get fucking hurt in there. You can get seriously hurt in there. There's been fighters who have died in there. So it is like, you have to have that mindset. Ali, when he fought, I believe, George Frazier, and he was just doing the rope-a-dope, he was taking, no, it was George Foreman, I believe. and they had their fight, and it was just a crazy fight. At the time, Ali, it was after he got out of jail, and he, you know, he wasn't in the same shape anymore. He wasn't the same guy anymore, but he was able to win the fight just because of his will, and he took a lot of damage in that fight. But the mind is just so powerful, and that's just really what I've been diving into. Just trying to get my mind on point.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that is super important. Then, like, I like McGregor a lot because, I mean, everyone fucking loves McGregor, you know? And, like, I don't feel bad about mentioning McGregor because I already did a podcast, but, like, the Paul one and then, like, the two before that were just, like, I spent, like, so much time talking about McGregor. But, I mean, the dude is, like...
Yeah, he's all over the place.
He's, like, our Ali. He's this generation's, like... But, I really liked how he bounced back after his loss. I think, look at McGregor and Rousey. Those are perfect two examples of, like, people who really came up over adversity and everything like that. And Rousey, you know, she was doing good, and then she loses. She takes all this time off. She comes back, and she's all weird about it and gets destroyed, and, like, you know, and that's, like...
That's what the Ronda Rousey phenomenon. The reason I believe she was so dominant for that period, because I read her book, was she had the mindset, and then also maybe her skills weren't that good, but these other fighters will fucking fear you because of their the way they perceive you. And so she'll go out there and just murk these girls and bring them down in their these girls could be really, really good, but they would lose before the fight because of the fear. And that's the same thing that happened with Mike Tyson. Like, these athletes that go on these tears, they just instill this fear into their opponents that when they get hit or they can't think straight, and then it goes downhill from there. And I've been studying this for a long time, and I'm gonna put the fucking fear in these dudes. I mean, I know they're scared because I wouldn't want to fucking fight me. Honestly, like, every day I work so fucking hard.
You do.
I work hard as fuck, like, and I'll be damned in this fight. I'll be damned if this dude makes it out the first round, because I've been fucking working my ass off. So, yeah, I'm fucking pissed off, and I'm gonna go out there and fuck this guy up because I fucking worked super fucking hard for this. And that's just how it is. And I know that he can feel that. I know that they can feel that, and they can see that as well.
Yeah, I know when I was training, you, especially you, Dominic, and then at the time Nate, like, you three were always training, and you especially was always saying, just like, Jesus Christ, after every class, you're like just literally like showering in sweat. You're like literally like it looks like there's like sweat coming off you like a shower head. It was nuts. What weight class are you fighting at?
170.
How much do you weigh?
I was before I'm at the weight I'm at now. I was at 195. Okay. So I've been cutting, a lot of weight.
And so the whole purpose of weight cutting, for the most part, is to try to is the goal always kind of been to like suck down to where you have a size advantage?
Yeah, just basically the way I see it is, it's like, okay, how can I be at the maximum, the best that I can possibly be for my frame and everything? And that's basically it. Like 170 with no fat, no nothing, just all muscle. I had to cut down to that, but that it does give me a huge advantage because, one, it's super like you have to be really disciplined to do it, and the other guys aren't doing it, so it actually gives me like a mental edge in a way, because when it's time to fight, I know that I'm gonna want it that much more, because every single day, like, all right, I went to Oktoberfest the other day, right? And I'm walking around smelling food, everyone's having fun, everyone's drinking, everyone's doing this, everyone's doing that, and I'm just there getting pissed off because I'm like, I can never fucking like eat this food and do this and do that, because there's always a fight, there's always something I have to train for. But then I remembered, when I fucking get my hand raised, it's all gonna be worth it. So
take me through sort of like your preparation for it, you know, because luckily you have a good team behind you with Professor Mike, Dominic, and of course Coach Steve, who's a beast. So what do you like? Kind of like, is your main focus still more jiu-jitsu, or are you taking the approach of, you know, your jiu-jitsu is solid, so that can kind of, maybe you can kind of take a step back on training that and tighten up other elements of the fight game?
Yeah, I've just been training everything, everything. Yeah, jiu-jitsu, stand up, wrestling, everything. Yeah, we've basically just been shark drills, sparring. Like me, I have Steve, Dom, Roy, just rotating in on me every round. You know, just getting me exhausted, and yeah, that's it. The training's super tough.
Yeah.
You know, those 3 guys right there that are fucking animals, and I had to fight them. You know, new guy in every round. So I've definitely leveled up from it. Definitely have leveled up from it. You have no fucking choice to, but you had to level up from it. You know, so yeah, it's been great training.
That's good. What is Dom? Is he planning on doing MMA too?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure.
What weight would he fight at?
I think he would probably fight at like 55, because he's like 170 walking around, I believe, or maybe even 45.
Okay. Okay. One more thing I wanted to kind of like. This is just another curiosity of mine as far as like weird jiu-jitsu politics with like you know, so you, Dom, and Nate have kind of been like the trio, but then Nate goes to California and he's training at Art of Jiu-Jitsu. Is that sort of like a weird thing to get like, and like, I love Nate. I'm not trying, you know, I'm not trying to stir shit up. I'm not doing, but like, does it get weird inside with like Professor Mike and other? If you're a Gracie Baja guy and then you go travel and you train at another sort of gym that's not maybe affiliated with Gracie Baja, is it weird or?
Well, yeah, Mike was for sure pissed when Nate went out to our jiu-jitsu, you know, but yeah, we're all bros at the end of the day. We've been literally every single day sweating with each other, bleeding with each other, like traveling all over the place. So Nate's our bro for fucking life, you know, but also Nate is coming back. So
is he coming back?
Yeah, so the trio is back. And we're gonna level up real fast, because when we all get together, like, our mindsets are just like amazing in the chemistry we have. So like Nate, he's super technical, so he can see something in my game, and then I'll be like, all right, so I start working on that. And then Dom, you know, he has what he brings to the table, and Steve has what he brings to the table. So we all just like get better like really quickly. So I'm super excited to have that guy back.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure like being in California too, that's like, you probably have like so many, just the best jiu-jitsu players in the world out there to almost at your disposal to train with and compete with and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good guys in California. You know, California is the mecca of jiu-jitsu, actually. Is it? Yeah, like there's a jiu-jitsu gym on every corner in California. California's amazing.
Yeah, dude, I wish I would have, like, I remember in high school seeing Gracie Baja on Bryan Road before it got moved. I remember seeing it there, and I was always like, man, I want to go there, and I just want to try it out. And I remember I was always so fucking intimidated. I like walk past it, and I'd see like a blue belt or something. I'm like, ooh. And then eventually it was Paul. He got back in touch with him. He like disappeared for a while. He said he was training jiu-jitsu, and that kind of like got me into it. It's something I want to definitely get back in.
Yeah, you should. You're getting really good.
I mean, I always say this, where jiu-jitsu came at a later time. I honestly feel like if I got into jiu-jitsu like 3-4 years prior, I probably wouldn't be doing music as much. It was just at a weird crossroads where I had to get all this kind of going, and I just needed to, you know, save money and all that stuff. And unfortunately, you know, I have to pay rent, I have to pay my phone bill, fucking gas, electricity and stuff. And so
responsibility.
Yeah, man, that was the thing. But it's something eventually I want to get back into. It's just, you build this weird, like, it's just good. in like all aspects.
Yeah.
You know, rolling with like having a good rolling session with someone, and then like even if you get choked out, and just that you plop on the mat, and you're just laying there exhausted, just kind of like knuckle bump. There's just something like about it, man.
It's like Fight Club. It's like the scenes in Fight Club when they just had a crazy fight, and the guy it can barely get up, and they just like knuckle bump, and the dude says, "How about next week?" You know, exactly. That's how it is. It's like it's just amazing. Like there's nothing like, especially with jiu-jitsu, because you're not really getting fucked up. Like you can tap, you know, and you can just go again and go again and go again. So yeah, jiu-jitsu is fucking amazing. Dude, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, I always, especially when I was doing it a lot, I was recommending it to everyone. I was annoying all my friends. I was like, dude, you got to do it. You got to do it. I feel bad. I still have my belt right over there, but I was so close to a blue belt. I really wanted to, but I tell myself I'm going to join again whenever I can. I just have a lot of other obligations to get to. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's seriously like I can't even explain. It's just so fun, so awesome. Steve, I remember when I joined, he was a purple belt.
Yeah.
Now he's a
4-stripe brown. He's gonna get his black belt in December.
Yeah. I want to be there for that. Because I remember when he got promoted to brown belt and everyone was clapping, and we were all like clapping for like 10 minutes. Steve is just the coolest dude. He is so cool. Yeah. He I don't know. He's just like he kind of like with me. I remember, I won't say names, but there was a person I would roll with, and this person was very like poor technique and very like aggressive in a weird way, to where he would like literally jack my shoulder up. And like because of for whatever reason we ended up rolling together a lot, and I remember like having like an issue with it. Was like, oh man, I like this dude, but fuck, he keeps fucking up my shoulder. This sucks. And Steve, like, I guess he like sensed something where like that, and he just kind of pulled me aside. He's like, hey, everything good? I was like, yeah, man, I want maybe like a different rolling partner. And he like kind of just knew what was the vibe. I didn't have to call anyone out. I didn't have to like, because I didn't want to, you know, like, you know, it does suck getting with a partner who like, especially I guess you don't experience shitty partners at a purple belt or blue belt level. Yeah. Like that.
Especially white belt is really where you can get hurt. Yeah. Because guys don't know how to move, you know, guys are just spazzing out. That's not what jiu-jitsu is about. Yeah. They feel like it's, you know,
spazzing out is a perfect way to say it.
It's literally not what jiu-jitsu is at all, you know? Like, you know, like when you roll with a high level black belt, or say you roll with Professor Mike's a high level black belt, perfect example. He doesn't have to fucking use strength or nothing like that. You know, it's just real smooth, and he's choking you. You don't even know he's choking you. Same with Steve. Like, that's how jiu-jitsu is. It should be super sneaky attacks that happen, and it's real smooth. It shouldn't be spazzing and trying to and grunting and all this crazy shit.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about Mario, if he's wondering. Me and him, we were like, because of our sizes, I was always rolling, and I'm not talking about him. I love that guy. Okay, cool. So, what else do I want to get to? Your fight. Okay, we got to kind of unfortunately wrap things up. I want to get you on again.
Yeah, for sure.
For a longer time. We can talk about other stuff. It is fun, dude. When you really get into like just the motion of things, time literally flies by. Especially when I get like, you know, good friends of mine. Like I think with me and Paul, it was like 2 hours and 50 minutes or something.
I'd be down to do that. Yeah. 2 hours.
Yeah, dude. So okay, your fight. When is it?
My fight is October 7th, so it's less than a week, less than a week away, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, and it's in like Iowa or so. Okay, so what is the your path? Because the goal is to get to the UFC, right? Is this your first professional, or is this an amateur?
This is an amateur fight. Okay. Yeah, but so, I've been training like this is a world championship fight. Every single one of my fights, I train like it's a world champ. I'm not going in half-assed. I'm not going in half-cocked. I'm going in balls to the wall. That's just how we do it. So
okay. And so what is, because I'm sure you probably know this more than me, but like what is the path you kind of need to go on? So you take a couple amateur fights, and then
my path is I want to be world champion before 2021.
Okay.
My path is go out here, maul this guy in the first round, have a super impressive performance, then possibly take a second fight at amateur, get a belt, and then go pro. Okay. So, because I've been training for a long time, so I'm not really like these other amateur guys. Like, they're not martial artists. A lot of them are just fighters. I've been doing this and plotting this since I was fucking 14 years old.
And what got you into it?
Well, yeah, so I didn't know shit about fighting.
Yeah. I
didn't know a fucking thing. So one day, one of my buddies calls me up, and he's like, yeah, we're going to fight. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll fight anybody, you know? And then, so I walk up to his house, and then we put on MMA gloves. I didn't know what the UFC was. I did know what the UFC was. I saw it, and I'm like, these guys are fucking insane. I would never do that. And then we put on the gloves, and I got my ass whooped. I got taken down. I got grounded and pounded, you know. And then I was like, I got up. I'm like, fuck that. We're going to do it again. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Got taken down again. Got my ass whooped. This guy was like a super high-level wrestler at the time, like a national, or he state qualifier, all this different stuff. So from that point on, I was like, I have to learn how to fight. And I'd always be fighting like with my brother and his friends. My brother's 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I'd always be like the small one in the group. And I'd be like in 8th grade. They're all in high school, almost seniors. So I'd always get my ass whooped. And I'm like, all right, I need to learn how to fight. And from that point on, I just started looking at all these different videos, studying all the different fighters, just going deep in the wormhole, started plotting. I started wrestling because I knew I was going to be an MMA fighter. And then once I got out of high school, I was in college for a little bit. But I started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 19. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to college, get my graphic design degree, and then go fight. But my heart was in jiu-jitsu and martial arts. I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I said, fuck that. I just dropped out of college and just started dedicating my time 100% to my art. And now we're here, and we had the fight coming up in a week. So it is like a big point in my life, but it's really not. It's just another fight, you know. Mm-hmm. But my path is to have this fight, and by 2021 to be world champion. I've been putting out vlogs every week on YouTube, so you guys can follow my journey, follow my training sessions. I travel a lot, so I get that on the vlogs as well. And yeah, you guys can just go on this journey with me to the world championship, because I know where my level is at, and I know where these guys in the UFC's level at. I study everything. I watch everything, you know, very closely, and I've been doing this for a long time. Even though I've only been training for 4 years, I've been studying and plotting for a long time. So I'm just super excited to go out there and do it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, we could go on and on more, but unfortunately just time crunch. I have things to do. I'm sure you got to train and all that stuff, so we'll wrap it up. I'm gonna have you on again for sure, so we can get into all sorts of different shit. Appreciate having you on, man.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for you. I'm sure you know you have a bunch of people behind you. I think you're an animal. You're ripped. You're shredded. You're very talented. I believe in you. I know you're gonna do great.
I appreciate that.
That was the whole point with this too. Is like I wholeheartedly do believe in you, and we need to kind of get this story out there and everything.
Yeah, damn right, man. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone who supports me. Honestly, it gives me energy. Like on the days I'm like, fuck this, I don't want to train. Fuck this, is it worth it? And then all the people who support me, I remember that, and it just makes me want to hit the gym harder and make it happen. You know, especially, you know, seeing like I have fucking kids looking up to me and shit now. So it's like it's kind of weird almost in a way, because I'm like, I'm just a kid myself, you know. I'm only 23, but it does give me energy, and I appreciate your kind words and everyone who's out there supporting me. Stay tuned.